Hey everybody, ECW fan, the collector here. And yes, it's time for another latest comic book pickups volume. And it's been a few weeks in the making here. And I've been meaning to do this volume for a while. And, we're going to finally get around to it. And I'm going to show a few things off here. I'm going to go ahead and show a cool little action figure I picked up from bargain bins. They're slowly going out of business. They're basically trying to sell out what they have, and they've been marking their figures down. And it's another Marvel's Legend figure. And I think I showed the first one off. I think I showed it on the previous volume. Maybe. I might be mistaken, but it was a Star-Lord figure. And it was like $3 or $4. And they marked this one down because the sale goes on. And it's the same Marvel Legends figure. And this one actually has Rocket Raccoon. And I went to he said, I've been selling the Rocket Raccoons out. And he had to go through, and he's only had a few left. And I'm going to get Groot. You don't have Groot, I mean. I'm going to get Drax. And I think there's a couple other ones in there. But, yeah, I would like to get if I was going to get a series of action figures for cheap, this would probably be a nice little set to get with Star-Lord and all them involved. So, yeah, let's get to the books now. Let's get to the books. Okay, since we're back now, I'm going to go ahead and show off some nice, one little Game Informer magazine. I forgot where I picked this one up at. I can't remember where I got. Oh, yeah, I got this from Jason's shop. I actually got this one from his shop, and he had this in the 50-cent bin. And I always get these Game Informer magazines. I try to find them cheap. And thankfully, he had it marked out. There's nobody on the back of this. Because I don't try to, because the Game Informer, if they mailed them out to people, would actually have their names on the back of them. And if you remember in the old videos, I would have to cover their names up. Because I was always like that, you know. I don't want to, give their address out. And it was weird, that they would do that. But they would print them on right into the magazine. You'd have to sit there and hold your hand over them. And I'm not going, I'm always safely to do that. I think I picked up from bargain bins, and this is kind of cool. And it's actually the graphic novel book of Thor, Goddess of Thunder. This is the first 4 or 5 issues of the series, a trade paperback. And this is a nice little trade paperback. And he had this one sold cheap for a couple bucks just to get rid of it. And yeah, this has got Jason Aaron. This is when Jane Foster becomes Thor. This is what they based God and Thunder off of. And it's a shame they turned it into a joke, because it was terrible. It was just too much comedy, and it just overran the movie. You got to have a mix. You can't just do a complete comedy show. It kind of goes too far. And to me, that's what happened. They went too far with it. You have to have a mix there. You have to have your comedy and your action. If one goes too far over, it kind of overruns the movie. And some directors get it, some don't. Now, these come from Jason's shop, and these are not in the perfect shape. These are all 50-cent issues. And I got these just to fill in a couple of runs. Plus, I actually remember trading this one issue, and I'll tell you. But this is Man of Steel 23. This is when Steel, during the reign of Superman, was going on in the 90s. I actually remember this. He meets Superboy. And I was not a fan of the art in this book. The art in this was not my cup of tea. It's nice 90s issue, but I wasn't a big fan of the art of this book. Some people might have been, but it's a nice little filler-in issue of that Reign of Superman. They're like reader copies. I've got to fix them a little bit. Here's another one. Here's Superman in Action Comics. I actually used to have this one, and I traded it. I remember trading this issue off in the late 2000s to the comic shop for store credit. And I hated doing that. But yeah, there's the Eradicator Superman. Reign of the Superman. And I like the Mortal Kombat ad on the back.
It has begun!
Mortal Kombat. It has begun.
It has begun!
I got another one here. Now this one surprised me. There's only one little spot here. But this one, right here on the spine too. But this book would have booked pretty good, and it would have been like a $20 or $30 book if it was in near mint shape. But this is the first Star Trek The Next Generation miniseries before the series started. I think it ran like 6 issues. But yeah, this come out in February of '88. It says the first John Luke Picard, so that's kind of nice that I got it. We got the first Jean-Luc Picard and all these characters in comics. That's kind of nice. I didn't think about it until I picked it up. I was like, wait a minute, I got the whole Next Generation cast. I got them all in comic book form. What am I talking about? Moving on, I got Star Trek #2. He only had like the first 2 or 3 issues. The third issue was in really bad shape, so I didn't even pick it up. If I go to a con, I know we're in the debating stages of going to Heroes Con. I'm going to look for the rest of this miniseries because I would like to fill the miniseries out and maybe find a better copy of #1. That would be kind of cool to get. I don't think a lot of people's going to have that first Jean-Luc Picard and Riker first appearances, much sought after. Even though IDW still has the printing rights to it. You still have the Star Trek license. Now we're moving on to MileHigh. And MileHigh Comics had a lot of good stuff. And I picked up 2 different orders from them. And this is probably some cool stuff that I like. Now, I got some 90s issues of Captain America to fill in the run. Because these are super cheap. They was having those 70% off sales. So I was able to get 409. Captain America 409. Captain America 417. These issues wasn't really in demand. This is right before Fighting Chance, where Captain America's super soldier serum was turning against him. And I think I have that whole arc now. I think that's one of the orders I made, was getting that whole arc where the serum was going against Cap, and he was like fighting that, and he was wearing that suit Tony Stark made him. I mean, the 90s was just a weird era. I mean, Marvel was turning Cap into Iron Man, and it was just like one of those weird things. And that armor actually made a comeback. The Cap armor, I think Norman Osborn started wearing it, and him and his son, I believe. But the arc I really wanted to finish, and this is one that I was happy to get, was Captain America 406 and Captain America 408. These 2 issues are part of the Capwolf arc, and everybody says Mark Grunwald. This is where the runs really started to go down for Captain America, because the Capwolf arc was one that they think that things really start to go on the series, because he had been there for so many years. He had been there for up until that point, like 7 or 8 years. And you do everything on Cap. He created a lot of good villains like Flag Smasher and Crossbones, and he really fixed Captain America's Rogues Gallery really well. He put the Mad Cap. He created that character, so he really did a good job fixing the Rogues Gallery. It's just that he stayed so long, there was just so much he done. There was no more else you could do. So, moving on. I got some Daredevil 90s issues, and Daredevil itself, I was kind of happy to get these issues because, I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get Daredevil. It's one of those books that, in the 90s, it too had its bad period. And it too pretty much lost its way after a while. Now, this was Daredevil number 308. Daredevil 308. This is right after the fall of the Kingpin and before Fall from Grace. Now, the next issues happened after Fall from Grace. This is the issue Tree of Knowledge, Daredevil 331. And I had picked this book up a couple times, but I never did feel... This is the last issue I needed for the Tree of Knowledge arc. And this is right after Fall from Grace, where, as you can see, Daredevil's wearing the, black and red costume. The black and red costume, which became highly derided at the time. Nobody really liked that. Plus, I think what hurt this whole storyline deal was the art looked terrible. I mean, the covers don't look good. Here's Daredevil 335. I mean, this is Humanity's Faith. Like I said, the art doesn't look good in these issues. And I think that's pretty much what hurt the series, because if the art's no good, nobody's really going to be really into getting these books. So, moving on, I got back to DC in the 90s. I got New Titans 69 from MileHigh. This was a cheap one. This was one of the holes I had in my run of New Titans, because I was trying to get the whole era where of Titans Hunt and where Peterson had come on. If you read the official Titans, I think it's still up, the website, Titans Tower, I believe it's what it's called, a fan site. they detail what Peterson as the editor wanted to do. He was like, he come from Marvel, and he's like pushing Marvel Wolfman. Let's think outside the box. Let's expand the line. Let's do things. He pushed Marvel Wolfman to put Deathstroke into a book as an anti-hero, because he saw Deathstroke as the Wolverine of the franchise that they could make something with, and he was the most successful. They did a spin-off book called Teen Titans, which was failed after 20-some issues. They was going to do the Hybrid as a book, but they didn't get to do it. But yeah, for a while there, everything was like, they was doing a lot of big things on Titans, and that when Jericho turned, that was a heck of a moment. Like Jericho turned. Yeah, I remember picking up that book. Years later. I'm like, man, I can't. He was behind the Wildebeest. That whole Wildebeest. The whole thing read like an X-Men series. The whole betrayal thing read like an X-Men book. And I think it's what made it click. Was what Peterson marveled the team after and pushed Wolfman to do. Now we're going to do some 2000s Batman. Or 2010s, the 2016 series of Batman, I mean. The 2016 series of Batman, I had jumped off after issue 105 because the price and everything was just getting too much, and I didn't really want to drive all the way down to Virginia to get books, and I don't like to order online for new issues, and the price for books was just getting too out of hand. So I said, I'll just pick up the issues cheap when they have sales, or I'll get them in from cons and feel in to run and go upward. And that's what I've been doing slowly. And one of the books I picked up was the variant cover of 107. This is a nice variant cover of Batman. Like I said, I just wanted to keep my run going. I got issue number 108. This is a nice little cool cover. I like that. Now this one actually surprised me because this one actually is starting to book for a little bit more than what I thought. I was surprised at that. So yeah, 108. And this is issue number 111. And I think I need 112. I think I'll have from October of 2022. That's when my run ended. But you'll learn more about that soon. I'm gonna show you that in this volume where my run actually now has started. Maybe it's a little bit good. You'll see. Maybe you'll be like, whoa, that's good. Maybe be like, you still got work to do. We'll see what you think. I got this book, and this is a weird one. This one is a weird issue for the fact that DC in the 80s, now they've had the Shadow license 2 or 3 different times. The Shadow, the Paul Pierrot, the Shadow. They've had him. They have had, I can't think of this, Doc Savage. They've had those characters' licenses off and on for the last 2 decades. And in the 80s, they got both characters again. They got their licenses to print books. Well, he's having issues with the Shadow, and they come up with one of the wackiest, wildest storylines. And this is the Shadow number 18. And this is the issue. This issue is weird for the fact that the Shadow loses his head and it's put on a robotic body. Yeah. They actually did that. And the book only ran one more issue before it was canceled. And DC, I think, relaunched the Shadow like months later, or maybe a year later, and that whole entire thing was just memory hold. No, it never did happen. I don't think they've ever mentioned it in the next series after it. But yeah, the Shadow was one of those characters that, yeah, I don't think DC has the license right now, because I know back in the 70s they had it, and he tied the character into Batman. That Batman was inspired by him, and when they lost the license, like they did the animated series, they created a character called the Grey Ghost. And I don't know if that crossed over into the main continuity or not, but you see how it is. You see how it is with Batman. Now, speaking of Batman, I'm kind of happy with these 2 issues. And I've been slowly but surely building my Batman run. And these aren't in near mint shape, but I'm happy to get the issues because these was on sale. I got Batman number 167. Batman 167, yeah. And I got Batman number 168. And I'm like, I've got a Batman run. By the time I get issues 170, I think that's all I need is 170. I'll have on back to Batman. I think I'll have once I get 169 and 170, I'll have a Batman run from 1963 or 64 to 2022. Which, hey, that's not bad to have almost 6 decades full of Batman books. You know, the main series of Batman. So, you know, I told one guy that, he's like, whoa, and he's like, he was surprised about that. He's a collector, and he's like, I never, you know. It's like, yeah, I've been collecting for years. It's taken 30 plus years, and if I go to a show, I'm gonna try to fill those numbers in and bring it down. You know, I'm gonna try to keep going with my Batman run. Now we're gonna get into some keys. Now we're gonna get into the keys, baby, the keys, and here we go. Now, the Brave and the Bold, I was looking for like a cheap. You know, when I went back to reorder again, I was like, I don't really want to pay way up there for new issue. You know, these issues. I'm gonna try to find me some special keys that ain't that high priced on sale. And this one was Brave and the Bold, number 35. It's the second appearance of the Silver Age Hawkman. Yeah, second appearance of the Silver Age Hawkman. I actually had my chance to pick this one up many years ago. I think it was like Heroes Con 2011 or 2012, and I just passed it up. I was like, and I kind of regret that because I think it was like $20, and now, you know, I think it was in way better shape. But that's how it is. You know, you don't really know. You don't really know what you're getting. But moving on to Marvel, its first appearance. This was a minor first appearance, but I said I like this character, and I was wanting to get all the cool backup characters around Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and Misty Knight is one of them. So this is Marvel Premiere 21. This one's in great shape. I mean, I was surprised how good the shape this is. But yeah, Marvel Premiere 21. This was really marked down low on the sale, so I went ahead and got it. Now, at Jason's shop, it wasn't in Flea Market Fun, actually. Now that my mind's remembered. It was actually the first ECW fan vlog, where I had made a deal with Jason. I traded some movies for store credit, and he had gotten this first appearance in. And this was the variant Nora edition of Absolute Batman #1. And I traded store credit in and actually cleared the book pretty well. So I was kind of happy that I got it. I was wanting to get the first appearance of Absolute Batman. You know, I was like, okay, I'm a big Batman fan. I missed out on getting on the Absolute Batman train. It done left the station. There's no way I can afford that first issue like Punchline. So I went ahead and jumped on and got that. And I'm kind of happy that I did. But now I've got, let's see, I've got 3 more books left. So here we go. 3 big ones. 3 big ones. 3 big ones. Okay. Moving on, I got, back to Marvel, I got Fantastic Four 94. This is the first appearance of the Agatha Harkness. Agatha Harkness. This is her first appearance. And I was like, you know, I was happy to get that. You know, it's not in near mint shape. Like I said, it's in very fine. It's got like a little bend on the cover right there. I think it's basically where you know, it's got a little fold, you know, bend right there. But I'm not going to kick on it. You know, the price I paid was really low. Low considered because the character's heat has died off, and I was actually going to get a copy from Larry, but I think Larry said, I forgot what he wanted for it. But I paid way less with that sale for it. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to DC again. And this one is one that I was happy to get. It's got a stamp on it. Now, normally, people could complain, but this stamp tells me that somebody that got this was actually in, it's very weird. It's got like, I forget where it's at, but some comics have stamps where it is stamped. And I'm not going to kick on it because I got this book, like I said, I got 94 for a good cheap price. And this is Flash number 113, the first appearance of the Pied Piper. Yeah, the Pied Piper. Or no, the first appearance of Trickster. I'm sorry. The first appearance of Trickster. Yeah, brain fart. Yeah, first appearance of Trickster. And I actually thought this was the first appearance elongated man too, but it's actually the next issue. So I need to find, I think 114 or 15 to get the first elongated man. So I'm gonna have to try to find that. I might have one of those. I think I traded with Eddie on one of those issues. I have to look, but I think I might have the first elongated man. I have to look. But now this made it worthwhile. This to me was one of my best pickups, and I love this issue because it's in really great shape. It's in really great shape for what it is. And this is the second time I've had this book, because the first time I traded it to Eddie because Eddie was wanting it. Me and him worked out a good deal on some books, and he was wanting this issue because he had Luke Cage. So I was like, I've got to get this one back. So MileHigh had the first appearance of Iron Fist. Yes, Marvel Premiere 15. I've got his second appearance, but now I've got his first. And I was very happy to get it. So that ends this volume very high for me. A nice little bunch of pickups, first appearances. And I told Eddie about that. So I got the first Iron Fist. But the last couple of years has been pretty good. Because the market, these issues have cooled down some. So I was able to get the first Iron Fist, the first Punchline, the first Black Knight. You know, I was able to get some good issues there, so I'm very happy with what I picked up. And I might do another comics pickup volume later on. If I go with Eddie to the toy show, we're gonna go in a few days, so we're gonna check that out. So we'll see what I can pick up there. But hopefully they have books there. Hopefully, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to shoot some video there. So, but yeah, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you like the channel. Hope you subscribe. Hope you comment. Yeah. So till next time, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video.